Black Angus Reserve ribeye steak from Rastelli's. So rare, so hard to find that actually Chris Menser had to order it himself right off of QVC.com. They don't carry this in the Rastelli's butcher shop because it's that hard to get. Reserve means 45 days wet-aged Black Angus beef. You know, usually when we present it, we present like 28-day wet-aged. This is 45-day wet-aged Black Angus, and we're bringing it to you in the butcher's cut. That's what the ribeye is. When you go to the steakhouse, usually one of the most, you know, when you go down the menu, it goes more expensive, more expensive, more expensive. The ribeye is one of the more expensive cuts of meat on the menu, Chris.
It really is. It really is, and there's a reason for that. Because first of all, when you look at Black Angus, you want to make sure it is Black Angus, right?
Yeah.
You want to make sure it's actually aged. So when you see a Black Angus aged steak, you know you're getting something really special. And you don't get that at the actual supermarket. You're not going to see a Black Angus.
No.
And you're certainly never going to see a 45-day age that you would find at the finest restaurant.
Now listen, this is really hard for us to keep in stock, right? In fact, it's like fewer than 4% of the cattle in America, you were telling me?
Yes, I mean, this is coming from small farms in the Midwest, and only 4% of all the beef that we deal with qualifies for this program because the actual marbling has to meet a criteria, and if it doesn't meet that criteria, it doesn't go into our reserve collection.
So here's the thing, you're gonna get 10 of these steaks. They're 9 ounces. Look at how big and thick they are, right? They're individually blast frozen and vacuum sealed. This could be dinner for 2, right? If this was me and Rachel, it would be dinner for 2. Here's what's going on. Alan, you just gave me an update. We now have fewer than 500 to go around. And there is also auto delivery. You can get this every 60 days for a full year. Get it, lock it in on auto delivery because, as I said earlier, we haven't seen these since October. And you're showing us, right? Fork tender. Let's talk about what is a ribeye.
So the ribeye is coming from the actual rib. It's the prime rib. So let's go to the board on that.
The butcher block. Yeah.
So when you get a ribeye, right? When you go to a restaurant, you order prime rib.
Yeah.
That's what this is. But you don't recognize it because it has the fat and it has the bone. What we do is we take all the fat off, we take the bone off, and then we cut these beautiful center cut steaks, right? Then what we do is they're aged, okay? When we get them to the plant, we age these for the 45 days that you mentioned. And why that is so important is because those enzymes mingle with the meat, and it makes it extremely tender. Now, at a supermarket, you don't have any aging.
Yeah, because their business is get it out, get it out, get it out.
Our Black Angus steaks that we normally have are 28 days.
Yeah.
This has an extra 17 days, which gives it a really nutty flavor, and it makes it extremely tender. But you mentioned about you and Rachel, right? Yeah. You mentioned about how you guys share. I want to show you what I do at home. Here's your 9-ounce steak that you're going to get, right? We talk about you're getting 10. My wife and I, on every time we eat these,
of course.
every time, I cut them in half when they're raw. Okay.
Oh, when they're raw.
Yes, because I want the sear to be on every side and on the ends, right?
Yeah.
So I cut it just like this. I take the seasoning that you're going to get, that Rastelli seasoning, and I generously coat it on both sides.
Okay, this isn't going to last. We have 450 remaining.
It goes on the grill. It goes on the cast iron pan. Sear on both sides. You can finish in the oven. Air fryer 7 minutes. Flip it another 3 to 4, depending on how you like it. You just mentioned you started playing with your air fryer. Me too. I was a little hesitant. I just started doing it too, but these come out beautifully like that.
One of my really, really good friends, Shannon, she said to me, she said, you got to do a steak in the air fryer. She goes, it comes out perfect every time. And she always says, like, rub a little bit of olive oil on the outside. With these, they're so buttery and perfect. This was actually one of the very first items that I was presenting years ago with Ray, and it is one of the most unique cuts of steak that we bring to you here. Why? Because Black Angus is one echelon of its own. 45-day reserve wet-aged Black Angus ribeye steaks.
It is.
That's the best of the very best. And so if you're thinking about Valentine's Day, right? Like Valentine's Day is this Friday. Maybe you haven't bought something for your honey yet. Well, get this for him instead. Give him the note saying, hey, your steaks are coming next week. And then you can enjoy beautiful dinners at home. Date nights, special occasions, birthdays, just because, right? Just because you want something really delicious on the table. And why not? And then what are you doing here?
I'm going to do it on the grilled Caesar, right?
Oh, wow.
Because look how beautiful that is. Now, that's a half the steak, right? We're going to take the other half, right? And no, the other half is not going to go anywhere. It's going to go right
and
here.
We're going right there. That's a big dinner.
But look
Listen,
at that.
350 remain. That's it. It's
Yeah,
gonna sell
I mean,
out.
and this is, Albert, I'm not sure if you tried this.
Yes, sir.
You had to try this. Let me give you a
Yes,
little
please.
sprinkle. But this is so tender, so soft and buttery in your mouth that, I mean, it's just that 45 days that you just get at the finest
my
steakhouse
gosh.
makes this so special.
Listen,
And-
I went to a steakhouse on Sunday.
Yes.
And at that steakhouse, one steak, one ribeye, was $85. One.
Yeah.
One
Yes.
ribeye was $85.
And
right?
hopefully it was aged, because a lot of times it's not even aged. If it doesn't
Can
say
I
it,
tell
it's
you?
not.
I don't know what it was.
Right.
Right, because it didn't say it on the menu. Now, here, we're bringing you 10 9-ounce ribeyes for $164.98. That means that it's $16.50 per steak here.
And you're gonna get-
versus the $85
Yes.
that it was on the menu for that ribeye.
And these are so big, right? They're gonna feed too. Rachel and I actually had a conversation a couple weeks ago. We were talking about the steaks, what Ray's favorite steak is.
Yeah. Oh,
we were
this
going.
is-
This is Ray Rastelli's go-to steak. When we go to restaurants together, everyone looks at us and what we're going to order.
Little
And
ribeye.
Rachel and I were talking about it because we were going back and forth on the steak. But this is by far Ray's favorite steak. Is what he
Yeah.
gets at every steakhouse. So this is what he loves. He's considered the king of steaks.
Well, because you know why? Let's show this. Can we show this one over here? I want everyone
Yes.
to see this. This is what makes a ribeye really special. You have this part of the steak over here, which is like the New York strip,
Yes.
right? And then you have this part, this decal is what that's called, right?
it's called a decal.
And it's like the most tender, amazing, melt in your mouth thing on the whole entire planet.
It is.
And what makes that different is that you now get both in every single steak, and everybody enjoys it. Like, there's not a person that says, "Oh, a ribeye,"
Right.
Like, now listen, it does have the flavor. Like, it does have like a little bit of like the fattiness in it and
Well,
stuff like that too.
it has a fattiness. It's all that marbling, and it
Yeah.
has that right in here. You see, this actually melts when you cook it.
Yeah.
and it actually really adds all that flavor that you get from that ribeye. And then that 45-day age gives you that nuttiness and that extra tenderness. And this is the way it's going to come to you, right? It's going to come because just as important as great meat, safety is really important to us. If
Yes.
you ever been to our plant, which I think a lot of you
The
had to tour,
cleanest
it is
plant on the planet.
So this is vacuum sealed to lock in all the freshness, keep out all the bacteria. It's going to last for 1 year in your actual freezer, right?
Yeah.
You can take one out if you forget to take it out the night before, no problem. Right, you can actually take it out, put it in a bowl of water.
Yep.
Now these are bigger.
do a cold water.
Cold water, a little running water. It's going to take about 30 minutes, but they come out perfectly.
Fewer than 250 remain. No
And-
bones, no gristle, no waste, 100% edible, and here's the best part. You're not paying $85 a steak, right?
Yeah.
You're getting it home. Really, you're getting it home from our #1 food brand here at QVC. You made them our #1 food brand here at QVC. They are the world's, they service the world's only 7-star restaurant in Dubai
Yes.
with their steaks and fish and chops. And today we're giving you the opportunity to have that in your house. I grew up in a household where food, and when you sat down with the family,
Yep.
that was the most important time of the day. That was the most important time of the day. Why? Because you got to spend time with mom and dad. In my case, it was always great because I got to have my grandparents at
Yes,
the table.
yes.
And I got to hear their stories. And I truly believe that it is the fundamental, most important thing for every family. If you want your family to have the very best of the best, this is it. This is it. There's no doubt about it, right? Or maybe you're a steak person and you just love a great steak. Go for it. Maybe you're doing the one of those diets out there. Like my brother, all he does is eat eggs and steaks.
protein.
Yeah.
This is 40 grams of protein for 9 ounces.
40 grams.
Right. So even if you're splitting this, you're getting 20. And I just cut this from end to end because I wanted to show you what you were talking about.
Yeah.
No fat, no bone, no gristle, right? And look at this. This is cooked medium, right? This one's cooked a little bit further, but I wanted to show you it's still, because of that $45-day aging, it is still fork tender.
Listen, this isn't going to last. If you want it, I want to show you again one more time what you're getting here, right? So you're going to get 9 of these steaks, $33 on a credit card. Lock it in on auto delivery. Get it every 60 days for a full year. Now fewer than 150 to go around. Sold out in October. And back for the very first time today in 2025. That's crazy. Let's go over here, and I want to
Yes.
show everyone again. If you're wondering, what is a ribeye? What is a ribeye, right? This actually comes from the prime rib.
It comes from the prime rib. So if you're a prime rib lover that goes to the prime rib. You get that 12 or that 16 ounce prime rib, right? That's what this is from. So what we do is we cut center cut from the ribeye. We take the fat, we take the bone, everything is removed, and you get this beautiful steaks, right? Now, this was a whole steak that I cut in half.
You cut it in half,
because this is how we eat it at home, because it is so big. You're getting just under 5 ounces of this steak per person, right, with your potatoes. And we have a plate right here. Let me bring this over here. I'm going to show you this. This is a plate already done, right? Mashed potatoes, asparagus. We did a little surf and turf with the shrimp, right? But look how big that is. Look how big that half.
That's a great dinner.
That's just a half a steak, right? So you're getting like when we buy these at home, and I have it in my, I showed you earlier, it's in my cart.
Oh yeah, Chris.
We don't have these at the butcher shop. We don't carry the 45-day age. You cannot come into the butcher shop and get these steaks. You can only get them at QVC,
so
and they're so limited.
So when we say reserve means not only 45 days wet aged, but there's a certain type of cattle that actually falls even into the category.
It does, and
of reserve.
It's still Black Angus. It's still coming from our farmers that we've been dealing with for over 48 years.
Wow.
But it's a higher caliber. We're looking for more increased marbling when we go to the reserve.
Yeah.
So this is only 4% of all the Black Angus that we
100
do.
remain.
Qualifies for this program. So that's why it's so special. Then when we get it to the butcher shop, it's aged for an additional 45 days.
Wow.
We don't touch it. We let it wet age for 45 days. The enzymes actually mingle with that meat, and it makes it just buttery soft. And you get this absolute melt in your mouth.
They're
ribeye.
literally fork tender.
They really are.
Whether you're placing them over a salad, you know, my dad's a big rice fan. My dad's always like rice with everything, right? And I don't blame him because my grandmother always made the best rice on the planet. Today we have it for you at $33, not per steak, right? For all 10 of them, 9 ounces each. You know what I also think is great is that, you know, a ribeye steak is something that you do see on the menu of high-end steak places. Like Rachel, you were telling me about you went to the really nice restaurant, in Philadelphia.
And the steak was $85.
$85.
Yes, it was.
That's how much it was when I went on Sunday to this different place.
$85, and mine was $67. I had a filet mignon.
A
little piece. I'm good.
No?
But because I had so much sugar, I'm about to have more sugar. Thank you.
Little piece now, you're good.
Okay, I'll have a little piece.
A little bite?
I'll have a little bite.
Well, you know,
I'm
listen,
convinced. I tried to say no, but I can't because I have to have it.
Oh, yeah.
Tender, juicy, delicious. The beef flavor is there, right? It's
that's really smooth.
Yeah.
That's really, really nice.
If you picked up the wines from Jeffrey Zakarian, any of the reds with this, right? You're having the best dinner ever. You're having the best date night at home ever.
And it just
you can't refuse it. I was trying to be moderate, and I can't be moderate.
And
no
did you see,
moderate.
I gave you props, Rachel. I said I started using an air fryer.
I love you.
And it's all because of you. And put the steak in your air fryer and just enjoy the crispiness on the outside, that delicious tenderness on the inside that's juicy.
Do it in your Le Creuset.
I knew.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Oh, listen, it's sold out.
Oh,
Listen,
well, then
congratulations
there
to
you go.
those of you that picked it up.
Congrats. Absolutely. It's
Chris,
delicious. Thank
always
you,
a
Chris.
pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being
so
here.
good to be here.
Listen, you're going to enjoy those. We talked about having it with surf and turf. Well, what about